So, we went to... Oh, Kate's got a small head. Ooh. Bear with me. We went to Tankfest and Kate had to buy a hat. I bought a couple of other things which we will probably look at in another video, because I did get some model kits. There were some sellers there, memorabilia, model kits, all things adjacent to anything to do with tanks really. And it was a very interesting day. We had the Saturday down there. The tickets were provided to us and we were able to go in the press area to do some filming. And that all came about rather last minute, but we managed to be able to be free on that day, and we went down and did some filming. So this video really is just showing you as is. I've tried to make it a little bit interesting. I do apologise, there's a bit of wind blowing across the microphone, but I've tried to cut that out as much as possible. Anyway, it gives you an idea of what Tankfest is like. We had a really good time. It was very hot, very good, lots of tanks running, and it was a very impressive display. So I'll leave you with this video so that you can see how it played out, and we'll be back on the channel very shortly with lots of modelling content coming down the line. So as always, thanks for watching, stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and head on in to watch the rest of the video. See you soon.
The British began to do this with some of their guns as well. It wasn't until shortly after World War II, around the same time that NATO was established, that most countries moved to a standardised way of measuring a gun's calibre, and ultimately that was in millimetres. That's when you are playing about with extremely old kit. Like I say, 99.8 million rounds were fired, 1.5 million rounds over the course of 2 days. And the thought is, there won't be a German soldier left alive. Nothing could live through that lot. The wire being shreds will be able to stay covered and be out of his bunkers running his trenches again. The West Kent's moving forward, rifle at the high port. They're not expecting opposition, but they're in for a bad surprise because the barrage has failed. The wire is uncut. It's incredibly difficult to cut barbed wire with artillery. And German gunners have come out of their emplacement, and increasingly the trenches ceasing to be a fighting platform. What is happening is they're fighting from concrete emplacements, just using trenches as methods of communication. These guys have come out and they're manning an MG08 machine gun. And again, that's an original weapon. And as you hear, it is at the top, 450 rounds, and it'll do that until a count. Very, very reliable. So, they have deployed some cover. But the problem is, as I said, the wire is uncut. Very wisely has decided that he can't make headway into this. They're going to end up hanging on the wire, in the words of the popular song. So he's got his wounded, and he is this tank, built for the film, actually built around Studio drive, but First World War. The enemy are opening up. They are breaking that tank of machine gun fire, probably aiming for the big. But it's not doing any good. They will see the rounds bouncing off. Those machine guns are terrifying. The tank moving through the wire, crunching the wire, creating the avenue for infantry to follow. That's one of the big things that tanks do. They crush the wire, and that way the infantry are staying slowly down. The tanks fired one of those 6-pounder guns and scored a hit on that German boat. The SMD, the right player carrying the short rifle, probably the best of its sort in the game. You can manage 18 rounds of remarkably accurate. The infantry are moving down. We're going to start advancing on, probably a bit more smoke down just to provide a screening element so they can actually move in. The A7V SHERMAN. If you look right over the far side of the arena, you'll see tucked into the corner there is a replica of the German vehicle. There are none of these, one in existence down in Australia, so not even German high command is impressed with these things. Von Ludendorff looked at the A7V and said, well, it really is quite a dreadful vehicle. This is a very good replica, it's proper sized. As I said, the only survivor is that the German army realised how bad it was and they actually came up with an alternative solution. They only had 20 A7Vs, but they had unbelievable exploitation. They are just there to punch through the wire and to take out the machine guns. Later in the war, the British Army does start to come up with other vehicles, things like the Witness. That's a little bit faster. So the theme today, if you were here yesterday, you'll know about it, but what we're trying to do is, don't worry, we're going to show you plenty of lovely tanks, but we're also going to talk about that anti-tank story. 10 months ago, if you were watching the news with the Ukraine situation, that was the end of the tank, wasn't it? Our museum here is consistently telling the story of the end of the tank. Yet, for whatever reason, we seem to still want them. And that's going on, as you can imagine, because now all of a sudden everybody wants tanks again. Poland's ordered 1,000 tanks, can you believe that? So, tanks are back in the news. We are going to show, through a chronological display of history, we're going to start in the moment of the First World War, end up this afternoon with the modern British Army, how, not only what that tank was doing, but how people over time were trying to knock out those tanks. So we're very lucky today, we've got some lovely bits of anti-tank artillery as well as our vehicles. Just a quick reminder, we say this every time, look out for each other, it's a hot day. Please also be aware we've got these screens, so we're going to try and use the screen so you can see a bit of close-ups of things that maybe wherever you're sitting it might not always be possible to see. And on that score,
and there you go, first round away. They don't need any other orders now. They keep looking through their sights and they'll straight away load and refire as soon as they're able to engage the target. Second round away. And the last round away. You can see until the one tank being a light on the rear comes from an original Panzer tank. But the Germans initially
They are looking at the Panzer I and II as training vehicles, but they give them armour plates in case they're going to actually be used in warfare. And so they are fighting vehicles. About 1,000 of these end up getting built. Some of them later on are converted into running it, a BMW car engine in the back there, but really looks at Part 2 MG13 machine guns, because still at this stage the idea for many militaries was that tanks were going to be there to suppress the enemy machine gun positions, as we saw in the First World War, and let your own infantry advance. That was going to be the idea. Now if you also look, we should have our second vehicle. Have I lost it? Is it going around somewhere? Okay, it's hiding behind the mound. There's our Light Mark 4. Now this is a British vehicle made by Vickers. This particular one made in 1935. Those vehicles, we said about the anti-tank story, World War II, the tank comes of age. That idea that we start the war, we said earlier on this morning, machine guns on tanks were thought to be adequate in a number of cases. Our famous, there it comes again, we talked about it this morning, the Matilda 1, an infantry tank, designed to go forward at a nice slow pace, escorting the infantry across what they thought would be called the shell-torn battlefield, crossing that wire again, machine gunning the enemy position. Even as this vehicle went into service, they started with building the second model, designing the second model. That becomes the Matilda 2. And you can see the Matilda 2 following over another version of an infantry tank. That thick armour again, with different amount of pace. It's got a machine gun up in the firing, but now they've added the machine gun down to the firing facility. There's a number of
troops to North Africa until he got Operation Torch, Anglo American force landing in North Africa. H1 was marched eastwards, the British were marching westwards, squeezing the African ball. And one of the great contributions that the Americans made at this point, in fairness, I apologise to any American friends who come to visit us, the land campaign, despite what General Patton said, the land campaign was not terribly successful on the American viewpoint. So what they did bring to the table, as it were, was the massive industrial monarch. This is no rout. They're retreating, they're fighting a rearguard action every metre of the way. The Allies are being forced to fight at every metre. Every house, every village, every coppice, every forest, harbours, German forces. And we can see now, coming into the arena, the German convoy. Both the Allies and the Axis are fighting themselves almost to a standstill. Everyone is exhausted. The German column now is looking for somewhere to lager safely for the night. But this is quite a powerful column, guarded by armoured cars. You can see the front there, an SDKFZ 222, one of the more successful German armoured cars of World War II. It's lightly armoured,
It won't stand against the tank, but that gun you can see there in the turret is an automatic 20mm. In other words, a very, very big machine gun. It's got compact 20mm rounds, several hundred rounds a minute. Following on, we have a HETZER, a tank destroyer, a Jagdpanzer, built on the Czech chassis, what the Germans call the Panzer 3080, built by Skoda and appropriated by the Germans in 1938 when it's quite a low slung weapon in comparison. Again, remember what we saw this morning, remember that 88 flak 88, and they missed. They missed. It's really difficult to try and track onto a target coming across the front. They were maybe a little over anxious. They fired a bit soon, and the two Daimlers are running out there as fast as they possibly can, and so too are the pack team because they've given their position away. Again, but this time with a little bit more muscle. Our American cousins are joining in here. We've got an M8 armoured car, what the British call the Greyhound, and that's mounting a 37mm gun. Do you remember David was saying this morning that the Americans bought a copy of the German 37mm tank gun? That is mounted in the Greyhound. It's backed up with a Jeep, and one of the newest weapons in the American armament, that is the M24 Chaffee. Now it's only recently come into use. It was only used for the first time during the Battle of the Bulge. Only two of them took part in the Battle of the Bulge, pretty much by accident as it happens. And so this is a brand. Has he got it? Looks like he's got it. Yeah, that gun there, the Chaffee was popular in its crews because it had a very good gun. That gun on the Chaffee there is a 75mm, originally designed to be slung underneath a B-25 Pixel bomber as a tank buster. Ah, no, he did miss it, but it looks like he's going to shake him up. The 2v2's going to draw it. So the Chaffee is armed with very much tank busting gun on there. It's fast. Its only weakness is its thin armour. In order to keep the weight down, they had to reduce the armour on the Chaffee. Now, I think if I remember, Chris was talking this morning about the sort of equation that you have with armoured vehicles of mobility, firepower and protection. You can't have everything. So if you're going to have mobility and firepower, the Chaffee gave up some of its protection. Still, a very capable machine as long as it doesn't come up against some heavyweight opposition. Now, speaking of which, here comes the HETZER. Now remember, the HETZER is a Jagdpanzer. Oh, it's not a Jagdpanzer, that's even worse. Jagdpanzer. An attempt to get a heavy gun, in this instance a 75mm, into a relatively simple and cheap to produce chassis. This is an obsolete chassis, it dates back to the mid-30s, but that gun is still, so they want to make sure that the HETZER doesn't come under fire from an infantry-packed anti-tank weapon like the bazooka or the British Piats. It's fine, and I do believe he's got a hit in on the Chaffee. This is bad news. This is bad news. That HETZER has done what it's good at, stopping the advancing allies. Remains to be seen now. What we're going to have to do is bring up something a wee bit heavier. Here it comes. The Chaffee's a light tank. It's coming out with a medium tank. It's the M4 Sherman. And it's a late pack Sherman. It's got a 76mm gun on there. That's roughly on British tank. Well, it's good, but it's the American equivalent. And as you can see, the Americans also bringing them in. This is the company. I'll feel it on the point. Chaffee didn't mobilise, but American infantry we also have and you'll also notice the Americans are deploying their own anti-tanker. There'll be no chances in this instance. They know there's German armour ahead of them, so they're deploying their own anti-tanker. This is the American version of the 6-pounder. And you'll remember from this morning just how effective that 6-pounder anti-tank gun is. So things aren't looking that great for the Germans. They've stopped the Allied column. But it remains to be seen how much damage they can do, or how well the Allies can break this roadblock. They are going to make their way into Germany proper. They're going to have to brush aside these units that are fighting so desperately to keep Allied boots off the fatherland. Again, you can see more panzer grenadiers deploying. And the GIs are advancing in 2 sections, which is pretty typical, where one section can give fire cover to the other. The Jeep is bringing troops forward. No, hang on, what are we going here? Right, they've got a bazooka team in the Jeep. Now the bazooka was perhaps the most effective shoulder-launched anti-tank weapon of World War II. The German Panzerschreck equivalent is much bigger and heavier, less wieldy. So there you go, he's tapped him on the head, he's told his load's loaded. It looks like he's drawn a bead on the 222. If he can get around the way and he hits, then I think that's curtains to the German car. Right, he's hit. Look, we've got smoke there, top there, that's it. That bazooka is more than capable of dealing with that lightly armoured armoured car. But we've got some extra firepower coming in. This is the M18 HELLCAT. Mounting, oddly enough, pretty much the same 76mm gun that's on the M4 Sherman you can see up there. Fire coming in now from the American artillery and mortar. The HELLCAT is a tank destroyer. Not quite unique to the American army, but it's a version of the HETZER. It's the design of a relatively lightly armed vehicle carrying big guns towards the enemy. American tank destroyer doctrine was such that the tank was a breakthrough weapon, and once you put it through, you put it head on against heavy German tanks, you bring the tank destroyer to deal with them. Nothing really sort of bother that HELLCAT. As you see, we've got Here comes the Sherman. Now you don't need to keep an eye on that HETZER, but it's demobilised. So when you explode it, the Sherman's taken out the back. Here comes the HELLCAT. Landing the Panzer Grenadiers. No, the KV is still mobile. If it did take a hit, it wasn't catastrophic. It's moving. Getting into the high ground. We have a very brave German there in the cover of the 222. I think he's decided, there we are, he stretches the better part of Valor. One of his captains has just opened fire with the American Green gun, which is pretty much the American version of that same gun. Keep it careful. Ah, now hands are going up. Even those who dug in further back, they're surrendering. Enough is enough.
Band of Brothers.
It was 75mm gun. It started life as a 6-pounder, but the British drilled it out to take the American 75mm round. That is one of the first examples I'm aware of where allies in an alliance arrange to be able to swap ammunition. This could fire effectively the same ammunition. We'll come back to that in a moment. I'll bring it later on at the end of this system plan and talk to different stuff from the garrison, and we'll see you hear the 2-pounder fire. You can't hear the 6-pounder fire. Yes, okay, well done. Now, we've got one more tank coming up the arena, and this is my second mention of Churchill, although I could have mentioned that the Coventry was named after George. And this is the Churchill Mark III. Used more extensively by Rommel in France and in North Africa. He was able to deploy these things. Now, the military thinking in Germany before the war began was that the Flak 88 was not a suitable weapon for use on the battlefield in terms of combating tanks. It's too big. It's a huge bit of kit. It takes a long time to deploy. You have to take the wheels off, spread out these up here, round about the issue that 30mm, back to the Marvel and Matilda, over 3 times that's 78mm, right? The Flak 88 will destroy. We saw how quickly those 2-pounders could fire. The Flak 88 is a slower weapon to fire than that, and you can't camouflage it. By 1941 they added an armoured screen to it, trying to get the rule of it, but it's a difficult thing to camouflage. The fact is, you probably don't need to, because the range of this thing is so great that it can engage Allied tanks well as well. But behind it you can see that absolutely characteristic shape of the Flak 88. Jaeger bombers, the J-bombers, British, Typhoons, Tempests, American Thunderbolts, waiting for the 3-inch rockets. They can do terrible damage, even quite heavy armour. So it's important they
they're going through in 26, the Pershing. Now if we look right down the far end again, we've got a couple of German vehicles coming in. There's our lovely Panzer I replica. That idea the Germans put firepower at the top of their list. Panzer I, as we said earlier, really training tank. So Panzer I and Panzer II don't worry too much about the cavalry, even though they are ready to be used in war. They're given armour plate for that. But quite quickly, the Germans start that process of the Panzer III falling in the second section. The 37mm gun, then a 50mm gun, then a Panzer IV, 7.5cm, then a long barrel, 75mm gun. So they're outgunning their tanks because they're built with that design. You don't end up with a force and instability after Tankfest. They are finally lying in the fence. When you see it happen, West Wales, think of the Spitfire, HELLCAT, and the light tanks that They end up designing a guy called Moshkin